Okay, guys, so we know there's a lot of tension happening right now in the markets, a lot of Middle East stuff, interest rates. What is the Fed going to do? What's really going on? I'm going to break down just a few things I'm focused on right now because it's looking very, very interesting with the S&P, with Bitcoin. We all know crude oil. It's really doing something, right? It went up a lot. It's still holding a higher low position. Couldn't break over that swing high. It's alright. It's just a wick on the hourly candles. We have all that downside going on, but I'm not focused on crude oil. I don't really focus on that too much. I'm gonna be focusing on crypto, just specifically Bitcoin. We're gonna go in over the S&P 500, and real quick, Mara stock. We haven't really gone over this in a while. Yeah, no, I'm just waiting for this. I'm not gonna be paying attention to this stock until it's below $5, which it's very much possible as Bitcoin does what I'm about to explain, which is the same as not yesterday's, but the previous video. There was a lot of interesting stuff going on. We're gonna cover the S&P real quick. We're not gonna pay attention to the RSI too much. We know there's a lot of volatility going on. The RSI isn't gonna really help us too much, so I'm gonna be focused on this fib retracement, this bigger picture uptrend pattern that we're focusing on, and then of course this is all happening as the S&P came down all the way 9%, 9.7. Currently, with the rise that we recently saw, 3%. Now, is this rise really sustainable? That's the big question, right? So everything, guys, I'm saying in this video, it's just my own opinion. It's how I'm going to be making sense of this in a very simple way. I'm not going to make this video too long because there's not really a whole lot I'm doing besides writing covered calls at the moment, and then paying attention to a potential S&P open trade in the near future. But yeah, so right now we have this uptrend going on. We know that the S&P popped quite a bit due to recent positive news on ceasefire. I think it's like a 2-week thing that was announced. It was either yesterday or this morning, but it's not. It is not the bottom, at least in my opinion, right? Because here's why. Yeah, we couldn't cross over the 120 moving average. We still have some more room on the R side to go higher. Again, this doesn't mean anything because this is a hyped rally. Is there going to actually be progression happening in the near future when it comes to a potential deal, or not just a deal, but ending this issue that we're seeing? Yeah, we've seen this happen in the past so often. I'm not even like betting on it or anything, but we're not here to focus on hope. We're here to focus on what the chart is actually telling us and what's the best approach right now. So we all know, if you guys like Elliott waves, there's 3 wave corrective moves. This could be first wave down, second wave up, finally finishing up this third wave with the current price movement. That's going to be quite aggressive too, but it overlaps very, very nicely. So is an overall correction of roughly 10 to 15% realistic? Maybe 10 to 20%. Is that possible? I believe so. I'm just focusing on this as a patience approach, because there's no reason to now, at least in my opinion, to get into this just because it's rallying. Is the correction done? Well, we can see more move down. We've seen this happen quite a bit. We see more aggressive move down. We can see this fill in a bit more, at least filling in a proper retracement from this low up to this high. So as of right now, really, I wouldn't say it's a bad idea to short, just in my opinion, but I'm not going to do that. Covered calls for anyone that's holding the S&P is probably a better approach, because again, we can see a higher low and go up higher. Again, no what ifs. So I'm focusing on these 2 levels. Go ahead and let me see if I can change the color. These 2 levels overlapping. This, in my opinion, even though we can see much lower prices, I believe this purple deep value zone that I'm highlighting between $5,594 and $6,170 is a really, really good buying opportunity. It's going to happen soon enough, I believe, much more likely than a sustained rally holding itself. Being patient with this one, looking for lower prices. Same thing with Bitcoin, right? So if you guys remember the video I made where I'm finally back from a break I was taking to work on some stuff. I'm still working on a few things. We're going to start seeing those pumping out soon, but as of right now, there is not any hype, at least from my side, right? So I'm looking for a corrective move higher. We haven't seen this fill properly. So every time I've been tracking these zones right here in these 2 blues, We saw the price come down. I want to see the price hit the 0.5 retracement. We haven't seen that. So not an overall proper retracement filled. At least second attempt couldn't break the 0.5 either. So at this point, I'm looking for a more of a bigger picture retracement to happen from the high of 126K down to this 59.9K zone, basically 60K. I'm looking for a proper retracement to fill. Now, we don't have to see that 0.5 fill. So what I'm doing, so again, the S&P, I'm just being very patient with it. I do want to look at gold and silver soon because there is some opportunity here, at least as of right now. It's starting to stabilize, but I wouldn't be too like blindly bullish on it. I'm more focused on, and then again, Mara stock, I want to see this fall a bit more. I'm not very much interested in this stock until we see below $5. I think that's very much possible, especially when Bitcoin finally finishes this bear market. Now it's way too early, time frame wise. If we go ahead and focus on this retracement, I've been selling covered calls to collect those premiums until we finally come down to what I believe is the bear market low, somewhere between 23K and 52K. Although, of course, no, I believe, below 30K, below 40K is where the low is at. I'm looking for more of this 35 to 20K zone to be filled. Until then, writing covered calls. I want to be more aggressive with these covered calls too. So as of right now, because it can drop any moment, I did extend the expiration date quite a bit further out. Right now, I think I have a total of, I sold another six contracts today. I think I overall, throughout the last 2 weeks, I think I collected like $12,000 in premiums. But this will all be deployed soon enough. I mean, they're going to buy them back at a cheaper price and keep the difference if we can come down here sooner rather than later. But if we do rally up higher, this is an opportunity for me to sell even more covered calls and then collect even more premium, because I want to deploy all that down here, buy all of them back, deploy all the capital down here, and then from there, it's holding on throughout the next bull cycle, which I am expecting. Obviously not just higher prices in the next bull cycle, which can happen. I really don't believe this bull cycle will happen until 2026 is over. I do believe we have a lot more of some flat prices, maybe some larger picture triangle patterns forming. None of that matters really. It's where value is at. So right now, value, in my opinion, in this bigger picture, I want to see this extension lower fill. Big buying opportunity, at least for me it is. Until then, if we don't go down there directly, again, we still have a retracement that I would like to see filled properly. If we can break into the 80s and actually get closer to the 0.5 around 93K, that's where I am very much interested in selling more calls, collecting more premium, deploying that down here, buying back those contracts as well, keeping as much of that premium as possible while still deploying more shares down here. Now, any move higher can easily, again, there's some imbalance, especially on 4-hour candles, even though this is a 1 day, 4-hour candles, a lot of imbalance up here. We can see 80K hit very much soon. A little bit of a pump where a lot of buyers down here can take a little bit of profit, but I do believe that anything above 100K this soon is not very sustainable. I am very much focused on lower prices while still the opportunity of this retracement filling. Again, there's no reason to be overly hyped. There's a lot of stuff happening in macros, a lot of tension happening in other parts of the world. A lot of this can easily be shattered. Just because we have hope of, this 2-week ceasefire doesn't mean that the bear market's over. Absolutely not. I believe we have lower prices to go, break that previous top, which we did, but break this lower, finally fill in this retracement. This will be as well as a very simple, it's not going to be perfect. Let me see if I can get this looking a little better. Overlaps very nicely, bigger picture support line with this zone as well. Now, how did I get the zone? Real quick, factoring in bigger picture wave moves. So it's kind of hard to see, but let me see if I can show you guys on this cleaner chart right here. It's just factoring in so far what we have, which is most likely just the overall move down. A little bit more, it'll look something like this as well, where we see a little bit more of an aggressive correction before we start going down lower. The moves we're seeing right now, very similar to these. And if I just give you guys this context right here, every move lower couldn't break the 0.5. Couldn't break the 0.5. It just broke the 0.35. Couldn't do it down here, got very close to it, but still kept going lower until eventually. So it is like it's just a previous example, but it's very much playing out very similarly. So that zone will be updated very soon. Oh, no, I kind of messed it up. So first wave down, that's similar to what we're seeing now, up to the corrective move right here, buying opportunity, and that's exactly what I'm looking at now. The structure is a little bit more widened, which makes it a lot easier to determine which points are, worth paying attention to. Not making a fib extension with these small corrections. As you can see, this one was a much more of a proper correction, although never filled the 0.5, just like in that previous example. So to me, very much makes sense that this is the equivalent of that red zone I just showed you guys in that other chart. So this is the target, simple as that. I'm writing covered calls for now. I'll be doing a lot of aggressive long buying for the next bull market cycle once we finally get down here. Now, until then, again, any move higher is just a corrective move. See if we can get into this orange. Regardless, if we don't, those premiums, those contracts, those covered calls are going to lose a lot of value. We can buy them back a lot cheaper, keep the majority of the premiums, deploy more capital into IBITs as well as Bitcoin trades down here. Now, I'm either going to let it run, take those profits, deploy more, acquire more shares, or if we go up higher, a great opportunity, at least for me, super clear opportunity to sell even more contracts and maximize those premiums once we finally come down into this area. I'm very much focused on that. I don't see any other pathway as being as realistic or as high probability as this one. We've been, if you guys have been following this channel for a while, we've been tracking Bitcoin, we've been tracking it so much, we've been tracking Mara, we've been tracking a few other things. I want to start covering other cryptos as well, but as of right now, we know that the broad market, Bitcoin and S&P, basically, we're seeing the S&P do this sooner rather than later. This is a very nice rally, although it's not very sustainable. We're going to see that 120 moving average broken. We're going to see it come down lower. This is my target ideal buying zone for the S&P. That's what I'm focused on. I'm being very patient with it. If I miss out on it, that's absolutely fine. Because Bitcoin, that's where the priority is at, right? So either to come down into the zone directly, or we're going to finish that corrective move higher, go down. I'm just repeating myself at this point. But yeah, that's my plan. If anything changes, I'll let you guys know. If I see any new trade opportunities, I will let you guys know. And then I'm going to try to make some changes on Discord as well. But yeah, covered calls so far this year, not bad. They've been playing out very nicely throughout the break. I've been selling a lot of covered calls. Every corrective move, selling them. This is just another opportunity. This one's going to be an even more clear opportunity because it's not going to be as fluctuative as this. This is a lot more of a wider move, a lot easier to have patience with. So yeah, that's what I'm focused on. Let's see if we can break over 80K. Let's see if we can go into the orange, sell some more, come down. Yeah, and then from here, this is where those long buying opportunities really come in, because eventually, when the bear market is over, and we still have a while. I believe we still have a while to go. This next move higher is going to be absolutely amazing, because even from current price, not even factoring in these low prices down here, reaching that 200K, I'm looking for 200K broken on the next bull cycle. We're going over. That's what I'm focused on. That's what I believe. 183 just from the Bitcoin's graph alone. So yeah, I'm really focused on loading up on Bitcoin as much as possible, but as of right now, collecting premiums so that I can do that even better. So until then, guys, I'll keep you guys updated. I'm gonna monitor this chart and a few other things. If I see anything real interesting, I'll let you guys know. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll catch you guys soon.